Suzanne, and we are at another episode of the Witching Half Hour or so. It's the end of March. We're just past the Spring Equinox. Everyone, I hope you're feeling that beautiful, juicy spring vibe. I sure have been. It's been just so refreshing, even with everything that is currently going on in our global world. There's a lot of unrest in the world right now. I started talking about spring, and I just can't talk about this without really... I wanted to start this podcast talking about spring, but I think it's taking a different turn, and I'm just going to follow it because there's a lot of unrest right now. There is a war going on, and I was going to be all PC and say there was unrest in the world, but the reality is there is a crazy totalitarian nut job named Putin, and he is waging war on the country of Ukraine. And it's difficult for us, for me anyway, it's difficult for me being a Gen X kid in the Western world who has all kinds of things to imagine what it would be like in a world of such unrest. But my heart goes to the Ukraine people, and not just my heart. I want to say the cultural thing where I say my hope and my prayers go with you, but Ukraine, my magic is with you. It really is. I'm going to talk a little bit about, I don't know, I would talk about this on the podcast, but there's an author out there named Michael M. Hughes. He is an author and a speaker, and he's written books. One of them is Magic for the Resistance, Ritual and Spells for Change. It's through Llewellyn. I haven't read it. It's on my list of books I'm buying the next time I do a big book buy. He wrote he kind of did, I think it started like a viral kind of joke about Bind Trump. And it became a internet thing. And you get on Facebook, find it. I might even link it in the show notes. There is a official Facebook page, and I'm part of it. It's a Facebook group people can join. And when all this happened, he penned another Working for People. It's a global mass ritual to protect the Ukraine and to end the reign of Putin. It's written very well. It's very beautiful. And I encourage you all to go seek it out, to use your magic and your intention for the resistance. Because we're here to change the collective, right? We're here to make change. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to link to that in the show notes. If you at all feel like this would resonate with you, go check it out. Go read it. It's pretty amazing. We have people all over, and not me, like Michael M. Hughes has managed to coordinate practitioners and magic workers all over the globe to, at the same time, do a ritual, a mass working to push the collective towards peace. And that's what we all want, right? There's a lot of change going on in the world right now. I think we're digesting a lot of what we've learned from COVID. I think a lot of people are leveling up. It's a big spring. The energy this spring is really, really big, isn't it? It's a very big spring push. I feel like the energies out there in the world are becoming more alive than they have for a while. Last spring felt like an autumn for me. It felt like I went from autumn to autumn to autumn for about a year, just doing release work and letting go work and cleansing work. And a lot of my people were feeling like that. A lot of my close friends and people I share work with were feeling that as well. But this year really feels like a year that we're back in sync with the wheel of time as it runs through our natural seasons. I don't know what my topic is today. I'm really quite rambling into the mic. What I'm going to do is my housekeeping. Okay, I ran a beautiful, amazing giveaway, and I have a winner for that giveaway, and I want to announce that today. The winner of the Witching Half Hour giveaway, our first giveaway, is off Instagram, Dr._Twinkie. You won, sweetheart. I'm going to reach out to you and get your information so I can send you your prize. You've won a beautiful self-care spa package made by me at my little hearth. It includes a Boss Babe soap. I really enjoyed making this one. It has a lot of power up in it. You have also won a ritual bath. So it includes the grounding salts and a grounding soap and a candle. So that's a ritual bath kit that you can use before ritual for grounding and cleansing. You can use it after ritual for regrounding, and you can really use it anytime. It's pretty delicious. I use it before ritual if I'm going to be doing a really big working. Before a high holy day, like before a solstice day, is a great time to use it as well because the energy is really high, and so you just enter into that space already cleared. In your package as well is one of my Mercury retrograde rescue bombs. The Mercury retrograde bomb, it's fantastic. It's a big seller of mine. It's geared to assist you in the retrogrades. Mercury is supposed to go retrograde, so it's an energy that we are to work with. I find in our day and age, with there's so much electricity, there's so many ways we're getting messages, there's so much Mercury energy in our world right now that it can be pretty intense. So the retrograde bomb is used just to soften the blow and clear the chaos so you can actually see what you're supposed to be reworking, redoing, and reassessing in the retrograde time. So those are for you, my love. I'm going to reach out to you the day this drops and give you, so I can send this all to you. Okay? Yay! Yay, winning! So on to our topic. I thought I would talk a little bit about spring and intention setting. Spring is often associated with seeds and intention setting. It's the natural time in the wheel of the year. And being the little witch that I am, I do follow the wheel of the year. I like to tune into the natural rhythms of the moon. I did a small segment on that already on the podcast. That is in episode 5, where I talk a bit about moon magic. I also like to tie into the wheel of the year. So that's the natural cycles as our earth flows around the sun. Spring is associated with birth, rebirth, seeds cracking open, right? The goddess Astra, that's where Easter comes from, folks, is about birth, rejuvenation. She is a harvest goddess. This is also the time when Persephone rises from the underworld and is returned to the loving arms of her mother Demetri. All life comes back in the spring. It's a wonderful, wonderful time for intention setting. Anything you have been doing, thinking about, you can really harness this spring energy. And I think this year, as I was saying, how there's been such a push of energy, it really feels like things are awakening this year, coming back to life. And we're seeing that reflection in our culture, right? Here in Canada, in BC where I live, we're dropping our mask mandates. We're having concerts again. We're being able to do things. And this is a big change. It was 2 years ago that everything started shutting down. So it's a huge boof of energy coming at us. Things are going to start feeling alive again. You can harness this energy with your work. Now, what are some of the things you could do? So I'm going to give you some of the little rituals you can do. One of my favorites is to take an actual seed that you know will easily grow, like a bean or, I don't know what's easy to grow. Beans are easy to grow because kindergarten children do that. You could do carrot seeds, but they're pretty tiny. Hard to do that. Anyway, a bean. Or other seeds, sunflower seed if you want. I don't know what other seeds you would plant. Maybe a flower would be nice. And you get a piece of paper and a pot and you write your goal, your emotional intention or your physical intention, whatever goal it is you're seeking, write it on a piece of paper and put it with the seed. And then you plant that. And then you tend to it and you water it. And you can watch the seed actually sprout and grow. And as you're watering your seed every day, it reminds you, it reinforces that magic. It reinforces that idea that you are growing something, that you are working towards something. So often with intention setting, our human mind really needs things to attach to, visual things, activities to attach to in order to do our magic, especially when we're a very new practitioner. It's a really good way to have a physical object that you are attaching your magic work to, because every time you see that physical object, every time you tend to that physical object, that little seed, you're re-reminding your highest and best self. You're re-reminding your spiritual self that you are working on your goal. Because that's one of the things when we're starting out, when we're a new little witchling, there's so much that can get in the way of the working and the manifestation work we're trying to do. We have self-doubt, the kind that is doubting of our personal selves, and also the kind of doubt where we don't believe our magic is powerful enough against all the things we're facing. Having physical articles that can help you, whether it is a crystal that you rub, whether it is a plant you're watering, whatever symbol you're using around your spell work, it helps your mind. It helps you from sabotaging your own magic. Sometimes even the best intentions and the best work spell don't work out because we don't believe in our own power. And then once you walk this path for a while, you start to realize that your words are enough, right? That it is just a simple belief in your own magic ability that starts wielding your power. That's one of the divine secrets, that you are absolutely powerful, perfectly powerful, exactly as you are in this moment today. So be careful and don't go telling everyone, all right? Because it's a secret that we are all powerful beings. The other aspect of spring is on the 21st, that's our equinox, equal light and equal dark. So another working you can take on, another great way you can tune into the rhythms, the natural rhythms of our earth and the flow of things, is to do work around balancing. Looking at where things are out of balance in life, where things are in balance. You can do a release work if you want it. It's not really fitting with spring, but if it's something that's really needing to be released, do it, babes. Otherwise, I would do boosting the part that is needing rejuvenation. Because to balance, whatever's in balance is equal, right? We know that. So when you're out of balance, one part, you could either do releasing work to bring down what you don't want, or you can do empowerment work around bringing up what you do want. In the spring, it works much better, much more in line with the rhythms of the earth to do the empowerment aspect of the ritual. Looking at what aspect in your life you want to increase and add beauty and add flow to and accentuate, and do empowering work around that. Sometimes empowering work can just look like saying it out loud, writing it out loud, putting it on your mirror so that you look at it every single day in the morning when you are getting ready. Whatever mantra it is that is empowering you. It's wonderful work. The way we work doesn't have to be big and complex. I mean, that's what my life is all about. Like, I've decided that my ritual work is part of my self-care routine, and it has to be quick enough, small enough, and condensed enough that I will actually do it. I run a very wild ship with a muggle job and young kids and self-care and all of my witchy woo and podcasting. I really don't have 3 hours to set aside every week to rejuvenate myself on a Sunday. I need to do small things every single day. As a self-care witch, building those rituals into my life can sometimes look as small as being very grounded in the morning, taking those deep breaths and acknowledging my accomplishments, taking the moment in my week, because it's never in the day, to just writing down the things that I have accomplished that I'm proud of. So, talking about intention setting, working with our intentions and working with positive thinking. Now, I am just going to touch on something because it is important to be positive. It is important that we manifest out of a place of joyfulness, happiness, and wonder and amazement. You're going to get a much better spell, one. You're also going to be more powerful in that place. Your energy is going to vibrate higher. But just give me a sec, because I'm not exactly sure how I want to word what I'm going to word, but I know it's really important. So there's a bit of a tricky, sticky subject I want to talk about when it comes to intention setting and positivity and creating and working on manifesting. So the sticky topic is the idea of positive vibes only. It sounds like a great thing, right? Positive vibes only. And I get it. Like, we want to be in a positive space. We definitely want to create and manifest and do our intention setting and our intention work from a place of high vibrational work. When I'm facilitating ritual work, when I'm leading a group, I make sure to create with them from a place of high vibration. And we can get there by singing. We can get there by our community laughing together and sharing love together. We can get there by using breath work and movement and dance, right? So yes, it is very, very important to be in a place of love and joyfulness when you are creating. It creates a better manifestation. You're creating out of the positivity of human beings and out of our creativity. And we create some of our most beautiful things when we are in touch with our emotion. And when we want to change our life and do really powerful spell work, it's better to pull from that creation of love than other places of creation. Now, and I'm going to circle back, so think about that. Creating out of emotion, creating out of love, and how powerful it is. I am going to circle back to another point I have about that. But the big thing is looking at positive vibes only. There is such a denial of human nature and the complexities of the human soul when we negate anything other than positivity. Healing doesn't happen from a place of positivity, sort of. Usually we choose to heal because we are suffering. And without that suffering, we would not rise up and we would not overcome and we would not heal and we would not just, be the amazing healed humans we are. And there can be this very, very double-edged, yucky sword to the way that people say, oh, well, when you're healed, you won't be angry anymore. Oh, well, you'll let go of that when you're healed. That statement comes across when someone is grieving or in a place of uncovering and dealing with trauma. If you start toxic positiving them, you are shaming them for having a human reaction to being harmed by someone or something. I just wanted to address that because I know in the New Age movement, there is a lot of good vibes only kind of mindset where if you ignore the fact that there are negative aspects to the world, then you don't have to deal with negative things. There is a negative and positive to pretty much everything in the world, right? As above, so below. Suffering, joy, hatred, love. There are negative things in the world. There are some really tragic things that happen to human beings. And to tell another human being, to shame another human being about their healing journey by telling them, oh, well, you're just angry because you haven't done your healing work. That is some of the most toxic things I have ever heard people say at circles to other people. So I just wanted to touch on that when we're talking about intention work and we're talking about creating out of a place of joy and manifesting out of a place of higher vibrational activity, we are doing that consciously, but we are not negating that suffering happens. And now I'm going to circle back, because some of the most beautiful things ever created are created out of love and joy. But some of the most beautiful songs and artwork I have ever seen have been created by people while they are slogging and trudging through some very serious grief and pain and trauma healing of their life. And I would like to put the idea out there that that is still coming from a place of deep love, because feeling grief at the loss of someone, although that is a very heavy and very, very painful place to be, grief is born out of love. And even if we're going through our own healing, our own trauma, and uncovering things that are difficult and painful, emotionally and sometimes even physically painful to heal, the fact that you are doing the work, the core of that is love. It's love for yourself. It's having hope. It's not giving up. Even in your darkest hours, when you are in a place of creating from that dark hour, pulling in a muse and doing your songwriting and doing your painting and sculpting and your artwork, whatever that artwork may be, you're finding hope. And hope is one of the most beautiful things you can ever create from. In saying that all the beautiful things come from creating out of a space of love, I include trauma work as being in a space of love. It is only through deep hope and deep, deep, deep love for yourself would you be brave enough to do that work. And anything you create out of it is beautiful. So let's talk a little bit more about intention setting and manifesting. One of the things that I find interesting is when I was first on this path, I would get really worried about how I showed up to do my blessing work and my full moon ceremonies. And I was very much caught up in whether or not I had every single ingredient to the spell work I was doing, whether or not my chosen athame was athame enough, whether or not using a cup from my kitchen counter was good enough for a chalice. And all the books I read talked about having tools of the craft that were specifically for the craft. And they did say, well, you could use a modern object, but, and there was this caveat, and I've learned that intention really is everything. I have had athames break in the middle of a house clearing or something I've been doing, and I had to continue the working. Couldn't just walk out of the house clearing because I didn't have a tool. I've also gone down to the river and forgotten an athame. So I couldn't write in the sand the way I wanted to with the athame, the words of empowerment I was going to write. So instead, I just used a rock. And you know what? It all works because it is about your intention and it is about your belief. So long as you believe in the work you are doing, you will be able to manifest good work. It doesn't matter if you're using your finger or a very beautifully witchcrafted by an artisan athame. You are the power within the work you do. It is your belief and your intention that creates. It's you. You're the magic. The human soul is the magic. What else can I say about creation and manifestation and springtime? Let's see. We went over spring. Because this is dropping after the equinox, even though I talked about it on here, maybe this is an opportunity where we can all look at the themes of equality. Maybe we could look at how they came up in your life. If you're looking for a ritual to do this new moon, or as the moon grows into her full state over the next 2 weeks, maybe you can look at those ideas of the equinox and equality in your life and how those things might have come up and turned out for you in the last couple of weeks, and reflect on those and maybe come up with some ritual work for yourself. Well, I don't know what else to say in this one. I think we're at about a half hour or so. I find when I'm just talking to you, my episodes are a little shorter. I was editing for next week, or I guess it's 2 weeks from now. I was editing my interview with my friend Lazina, and it's hard to keep those in the half hour or so range. So I hope you got a lot out of this episode. I'm going to make show notes for you as always. If you are doing some ritual work this spring, tell me about it. I would love to hear from you. I love when you like and I love when you subscribe, but leave me a comment. Tell me what you're doing. Let's get a conversation going, my lovies, and talk about what we're doing. I'm doing some ritual work with a group. It's already, by the time this launches or by the time this drops and goes live, I will have already done that circle with a group of beautiful people. I know that I had a wonderful time because I'm working with two ladies I super love, the beautiful Tara Diana and the beautiful Lazina in it. And we are doing a Spring is Sprung ritual on the 21st. I just wrote the ritual yesterday out on my paddleboard in the bay in Vancouver. So I know what I'm manifesting already for that. Yeah, but tell me what you're doing. Tell me about your work. I'd love to hear it. And as always, you can find me on Instagram under Sprite Made Soaps. I've changed my TikTok handle recently to witching half hour ... or so. They wouldn't let me put the dots at the end, so they're in the middle. I have a YouTube channel. It's currently called Tarot Talks, and that's where I put all of the companions to the Tarot Talk episodes on here as we go through the High Arcana. And you can always check out my website, jodiannepsychicmedium.com, for all kinds of stuff. Events I'm doing, classes I'm hosting, booking a reading with me, it's all on there, loves. I'll see you soon on another witching half hour or so. Putting it on your mirror so that you look at it every year, or not every year, for a day. No, do that again. I don't even know how to say this. In order to cause, how do I say this? I gotta adjust my mic. Just, I guess, you know what I can talk about? Yeah. That's not how I want to say it.